History. Yeah. Where I come from. Yeah. Come from a lonely place in the heart. It's called View Park, right next to Hyde Park. 74, 75 when the hood arrived. It all changed for residents on the block. So these strong big pots, they thunder and lightning. Sticky T and Kyle, Crenshaw district is frightening. Snoop Dogg, Babyface, and Big Rick is the man. Birthplace of 60 Crips, we ruin the land. Big Mump, Keystone, Ronnie Pace, and the Springers. Know they kept the burner shot dice till they winning. Slanging the rocks and play ball at Ladera Park. Summerfield playing ball, low we chillin'. Now our numbers are grew, homie, about 60 more. Niggas you could call a little Mump, J Stone. T Mac, Master Rip, Squally Deep, Big Loon. Now we are forced to be reckoned with, you will see it soon. Where I come from, better have your gun, huh? 60 Crips run the hood, and we know punks. Where I come from, snitches don't get no love. See a rival with this family, give a pass, cuz. Where I come from.
Let's start with Arlington.
Okay.
All right, Arlington is where everybody hung out at.
Well, my particular crew, I mean, a lot of people hung out on Arlington, but I can't say everybody. You know what I mean? And for myself and the guys I come up with, you know, the crew I hung around with, Arlington is a mainstay, and for us, it's kind of like, I don't know, that was kind of like our homeland because Big Rick stayed over there, you know what I mean, and Face them be over there, everybody from different places come. And then on that block, you know, they're not taking away from no other block in the set. At that particular time, you know, if you do the roll call that used to be over there, just for instance, like the picture that you had on when me and Slew did the interview with me, Moncrief, Feed, Pieface, that was just a handful of dudes. But you know, you had Lunatic Frank, and you know, you can go through all the Springers, J-Dog, Catman, Gator, DC, rest in peace, KK, rest in peace. You know, out of that house, Joe Rat, his brother, Kitty Rat, you know, Doe-Eye, Ronnie Pace, G-Rye, original G-Rye, you know, just a lot of us over there. Yeah. And even now I can't really articulate how many people was over there and how effective it was, because you had Peaky, you had Big Cat, you know, all of them used to come over there. It was just a real hot block, and it was a, you know, Big Feed, it was a bully block, you know what I mean? All the bullies of the hood, you know what I mean, not all, but a lot of them was concentrated on that block. And then, like I say, people from other areas used to come over there and function because the Rick House, that block was a well-known block. You know, Odie Shaw, them, all them, everybody used to come through there. Because, I mean, it was always somebody on there. It was always active on that block. You know, you got Tyrone, rest in peace. You know, and then it was like, it was probably about at least 2 generations on that block. It's more now, but I mean just functioning that during the early 70s, well, the mid 70s, early 70s, because there ain't no early 70s over there for us to set, you know what I mean, because it was from the mid 70s and above. And you know, we had a special kind of attitude because we always thought we was them cats, you know, just because we had Big Rick on the block, you know, and Face them come through. And then, like, say, Peaky them, all the people that I looked up to, you know what I mean? Most of them came through there, you know what I mean? And then but you had other pockets, like you had Kyle and them and they situations, G and them, they was more heavy hitters, you know what I mean, around the corners from us, you know what I mean? Then you had Snoop them across the track, another heavy hitter, you know what I mean, at that time. And, you know, it was just always like that. But as a collective, you know, that's where we was at on Arlington. And our roll call went deep for to have that many hitters
in a small
space, yeah.
Let me ask you, I don't know if you could speak to this or not. Big Rick, prior to the 60s forming, what was Big Rick and some of the guys on Arlington claiming?
That's something you really got to ask Rick, because I can't remember, you know, nobody really, Rick and them not really claiming them, but because him and my brother used to run together. You know, they was in the cars and all that. But I mean, I know before 60s, it was like West Side Crips over there. Then it was West Side Avenue briefly. You know what I'm saying? And then you had the Bishops with Mark them and Kenny Scradden and all them cats. So ripped them, at one time. But all that shit, you got to keep in mind, that was fast moving. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, when I got there in 72, 71, as soon as I got out there, I had been out here the summer before. Everything was peaches and cream. I wasn't hearing that. So when I came back the following year, they're like, man, this gang called the Crips and Horseman, all the scary stories. I'm like, damn, niggas riding around taking leather coats. My sister taking us to Hollywood skating ring, and I'm seeing all the actors down there. You know what I mean? They come from Texas. It was a really good culture shock to me because, like in Texas, if you had a big old afro or something, you didn't go to school. So when I came out there, all these niggas got these Michael Jackson afros and leather coats. Schools got fences around them and shit, you know what I mean? Like I'm saying, I'm waving at everybody. Hey, what's that? And my mother, put your hands down, nigga. This ain't no parade. You know what I mean? You get a nigga jumped on or whatever. So, just different because coming from the South, blacks stuck together because I lived in the segregated South. You know what I mean? So we had to stick together. So to come out here and see black on black, it was something that you had to adapt to and get used to, but it wasn't something I took wholeheartedly at first. You know what I mean? But in order to survive, you got to do what you got to do. You know what I mean?
What era does QT fall in?
Quint?
Yeah.
Quint is the first generation. He was one of the, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, Quint went around. You know what I mean?
When did Mumbles first pop up?
Mumbles popped up in, in the 70s. I came, because he lived up the street from me, but he used to be with KK, and that was kind of like, he was like a younger homeboy. I ain't gonna say he was my little homeboy, but you know what I'm saying? But he was, Mumbles, that's what I'm saying. All that was like 70, probably 76, 70s, 70, something like that. You know what I mean? 78, things was just growing, you know what I mean? And that's a while back, but, he was up there, I might say the second generation, beginning of the second.
Arrested at his home early Friday was Stanford Big Mumbles Bursey, 20. A juvenile gang member was also taken into custody. This morning's pre-dawn raids by Los Angeles police officers are said to have broken the back of the Rollin 60 street gang, according to Deputy District Attorney Andrew Diamond. The gang, described by law enforcement authorities as one of the most dangerous and violent in southwest Los Angeles, has been blamed for several fatal shootings in an ongoing war with a rival Crip gang. I think our raid effectively wiped out the Rollin 60s, Diamond said. He added that the raid resulted in a 6-month investigation by LAPD's hardcore gang unit, Community Resources Against Street Hoodlums, also known as CRASH. 2 suspected members of the same gang are awaiting trial in the slayings of 4 pedestrians in a neighboring West Side community last August.
Yeah, when they got Mumbles, they was big on this. We broke the back of the Rolling 60s.
Yeah.
You remember that? Or you might have been locked up.
What you mean when they got Mumbles?
They got, when he got arrested, like 83, or no, 81. 81 when the 8 and 60s was at war.
Oh, you talking about with that thing?
So they thought they knocked the 60s out the game way back then.
Yeah, but that's a resilience.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you talking about the case with Doe Iron Shanks and all them on there, yeah.
Because they were still gathering intelligence, but they thought they had enough right there to knock us out, but they didn't know how many. They didn't really know how many members it was.
How big the set was, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, I was out on the bricks with all that shit, you know what I mean? I just came home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
From that case you said you had.
But, they was doing this shit, you know what I mean? They used to just hit us up all the time, because we be gambling on 6-7 to Arlington. They whooping niggas' ass and laying your face on that motherfucking hot-ass car. You know what I'm saying? Doing all that little low
big
shit.
Big ass flashlights and billy clubs.
Motherfucking, man. But see, over there, we had so many shortcuts. You know what I'm saying?
Catch you.
Oh, man, we could walk from Arlington, if we wanted to, we could walk from Big Rick, a house, go walk the walls in between that streets. garages all the way to the Springers. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have to be seen if we didn't want to. Then we had the Catholic school up there. We had little spots in there where we gambled. Can't nobody see the enemies. Nobody couldn't see us. So it was always, we started doing that kind of situation. Then, like you know, I can't speak for no other areas in the hood. Like, say, if we on it, if we see a police like 6 blocks away, we already getting out the way. You know, before they get there. We don't want them to see us or whatever. You know, they try to sneak up on us, but we like disappear on their ass, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's a whole bunch of little shit, man.
Yeah. When was the first time you went to prison in California?
Me?
Yeah.
1979, to the feds for a little something. Right after Tyrone got killed.
Then when you get out, you go back to state. What year was that?
Like 85, 86, something like that. About 86, something like that.
So you was in there when all that Blue Note, CCO, Vanguard stuff was going on.
Yeah, that was kind of like, to me, that was kind of fake because I ain't never been up under that. But I mean, yeah, because I mean, you know, I know, most of my homeboy, you know what I'm saying? And all that. But see, by me being on the streets all the time and like, you know, we got a homie, we was pushing the lines out here that we weren't going to fall up under that because at that particular time, we had war with these cats. You know what I'm saying? So we can't function like that up under that umbrella. You know what I mean? Like when I was in county jail, you know, they was like, it was a few little situations came down where the homie Miles, you know, had instructions for doing different things, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, we worked it out within our rights.
So when you say y'all was at war, you talking about people that was within CCO and all that?
No, I'm talking about on the streets. I can't speak on CCO.
No, but I mean members of CCO. Who was you at war with that y'all didn't want to?
No, I'm talking about in the streets. You know what I mean? You was at war with the A-Trade, who was at the time down in the whole city. You know, from 60s, you know, the whole city seemed like it was against you. You know what I'm saying? Over there, I mean, you know, I don't know if it came from arrogance or we just pushing the line in different places, but every hood was trying to stand up on their own. So for the ones like me, I can't speak for nobody else that was out here on them bricks. It's like it didn't make sense for me to go up under the umbrella and embrace a dude that just tried to knock my homeboy down or me down. You know what I'm saying? So we couldn't get up under that banner, but I understand why they got up under CCO because a lot of them cats, when they hit the pen, you know, Crips was just now forming, and they had to go against the BGFs or whatever else organized organizations that was functioning at that time. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was Vanguard trying to stand up, I understand that part. But for the street sports, you know, even though I function everywhere in the city, but I mean, I couldn't have nobody else over my homeboys if I was there telling them what to do about certain situations that ain't related to our hood, you know what I'm saying? And our best interest.
So was the BGF still showing a presence during this time, mid-80s?
I mean, they was there, but I mean, you know, man, it's like, I ain't do a lot of times. They there, but I ain't trip off that shit now. Now, like when I was in the feds, they had a bigger presence, you know, because there wasn't that many Crips when I was in the feds, you know what I'm saying? You know, they had their little situations, but I'm not trying to sound tough or nothing like that, but I didn't fall up under nobody's jurisdiction. If it wasn't from 60s, you know what I'm saying? I just wasn't that kind of guy, man.
For the people that don't know, who did the 60s, who was in the car? What car was y'all in the 80s?
In the 80s?
Yeah.
Just 60.
Just 60. What about the 90s and Harlem's?
Yeah, I mean, man, look, we had the ozone, you know, the neighborhood car, you know what I'm saying? All of them was our allies, you know what I'm saying? Those was in the cars, because when the city split up, you know what I'm saying, it was gangsters against neighborhoods, more or less, and whoever first with whoever, you know what I'm saying? But we had a lot of, we had allies at first, like with the Broadway gangsters. We was cool with the Playboys. You know, we was cool with a lot of sets before it really got fragmented. You know what I'm saying? You know, and then it could have came from anything. You know what I'm saying? The hood just getting too big and feeling too strong. You know, some of the homies that come up behind it had beefs with this and then just split up. You know what I'm saying? You know, because like me, I used to be all over the city. You know, like I was telling you in that other interview, when I used to go out to Watts and shit, be hanging out with Solo, AJ, and Whitman, I didn't even know we was war with them until I seen 6-0 killer on the wall when I'm leaving, going down 103rd Street. It kind of like tripped me out, you know what I'm saying? But that's what it was. I'm used to it. My cousin them stayed in Compton, the Pompano. I go out there, I see 6-0 killer on the wall out there, but I'm out there functioning with my boy Lumberjack from 8-9. You know what I'm saying? Well, you know, I really don't worry about shit like that because I mean, either it's gonna be good or bad. And then nigga walk up to you, man, do I know you? What? From good or bad? I don't know. You know, you tell me. You know what I'm saying? I just spent a lot of time worrying about shit because I figure what's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Right. Did you ever go through the Crip March?
4800? Yeah, I went through the Crip March.
Yeah, why you never talk about that?
Huh?
Why you never talk about 48? Because you wasn't asked?
Yeah, I wasn't asked about it, but I mean, it was just jail is jail. You know, I'm functioning when I'm functioning. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To me, it's just like the street. But I was up in there briefly, about 6 months, 7 months. Me, Wack, Lil Let Loose, Big Fee, Shice them, Mel Rock them, Keith Ryder, Rick Ryder, Mud, Steve, we was up in that deep as motherfucker. You know
all
what I'm
riders.
All riders, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Doe Eye, them all came through, all that. C-Dub was in high power. Big Cat was a trustee, you know, shit like that.
Lil Feet wasn't in there?
Nah, I had a good chance to see Lil Feet. You know what I mean? He was gone. He probably was in high power somewhere.
Was there any hustles besides drugs back then in the 70s?
In the 70s, I mean, it was a rough hustle, robbing and jacking, man. You know what I mean? I heard people say I put emphasis on jacking. It's not that. That was just part of the hustle. I don't know a real nigga or any nigga in L.A. that wasn't involved in jacking, whether it was behind the scenes or behind the pistol. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It ain't like, it's when you get up in the morning, you hungry, right? You gonna go get something to eat, right? So it's like where the block I come up on is like whatever's clever, player. You know what I'm saying? You know, I get up, I ain't eating breakfast, I'm gonna keep my stomach growling, keep me hungry. You know what I'm saying? So when I go, whether it's burglarizing, jacking, robbing, whatever, you know, we was opportunists. You know what I mean? We tried to pickpocket. You know, we tried all that. Some of the homies had, you know, little weed sacks, little sherm sacks, dust, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But jacking was just something everybody in the city did. I don't know nobody that didn't. You know what I mean?
Do you feel like one had more influence on the other as far as gang banging and robbing?
Yeah, because gang banging, you functioning, but you know, gang banging is showing strength, right? Sometimes we get confused what strength is, but under that perception is, so you trying to dominate, you know, especially where we come from, you know what I mean? They like the S and 6 and stand for scandalous, you know what I'm saying? But stand for survival too, though. You know, survival of the fittest, you know what I mean? So when you get up in the morning, if you broke, you see somebody that's kind of weak, you gonna pull his pockets down. Because you gotta eat, you know what I'm saying? And you might do it diplomatically, like, man, you know, with conversation, man, let me get that up, man, you know, let me borrow that, you know, because you don't want to, you know, do whatever, right? But yeah, jacking was something, and then, like me, see, my thing was like this here, for as jacking, it was just a way of like robbing, because I'm just trying to eat, I'm just trying to survive, steal a car, whatever the lick is, like somebody pull up, it might not even be your idea. Like, man, it's a lick over here. You know, that's all it was a lick. Whether it's faking a nigga out like you're going to sell him a pound of weed and keeping the money or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Then on certain situations, if they play a player, you might rob a nigga and leave his jewelry. Some niggas might break the nigga for his whole jewelry, but my philosophy was this. It all depends on what kind of player this was, but if this nigga's a player, I'm going to leave him his jewelry. At least he got a little get back. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he won't be as mad. You know what I mean? Well, they had to gun him, but nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? But that's just all kind of bullshit. It's just how you feeling that day, how you thinking. You know what I mean? But like I said, I can't speak for nobody but myself, man. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I know everybody I grew up around with, then pull somebody's pockets down. Every nigga that I know that's been to the penitentiary, what you in the penitentiary for? You done jack something. You know what I mean? You gonna knock the nigga down or whatever. You know what I mean? Some niggas, like, I don't know, man. You know, I don't want to start rambling, but I know killers that won't get money. You know what I mean? They'll
That's
knock
how it
it.
used to be, though.
Yeah, they'll go kill somebody. They be spooked by going robbing something. I used to just laugh at it. You know what I mean? And like when the dope game came out, I used to pull up on the block. Especially on BG, they were like, "Stone, give me a sack, nigga. I robbed, man. I don't sell dope, but I did sell dope. But it was just a thing. That's how it was, man. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, what's that saying in Donald Goins' book?
Oh, talk about remember what was what? I'm gonna say it like we said. Remember the quote what the '60s wrote about honesty and fair play. You can't live sweet not knowing how to cheat because the game ain't played that way. So in order to succeed, you cut out your heart for a better start because there's an organ you really don't need. And that's the kind of emphasis that we put on it. You know what I mean? You can't live sweet not knowing how to cheat. Everybody cheat. So you want to be the victim or the victimizer. You know what I'm saying? So and that's how it goes. And just like I say, it goes back to the crap games. See, the crap games was a catalyst for us to do all kind of shit. Because especially at Crenshaw or wherever, even in the hood. You know, you gambling and, you know, the bullies is coming. Or if a nigga feel you weak, he gonna, especially if he running bad on the crack game, he gonna use that to justify whatever's to come next. And if you ain't down, you gonna get put down. You know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about killing niggas, but you know, something gonna pop off. So you gotta, to me, crap games built a lot of strength and character in different people. It's gonna separate the clean from the crop, whether you weak or not. And especially like on Sundays at sitting down the park when all them crap games was coming over, man, I'm shit. One of the homies was up there one night, we gambling like a motherfucker, and this shit got a big ass pistol on his side. He trying to shoot tees, but I got a cold kill shot, so I'm doing my thing and I'm winning. So the homie up there, you know, he a little fucked up pie. He was up there, and I done passed on the dude, so I was like, nigga, I see my point under the money. I'm like, I'm peeling off some money. Like, nigga, you want to see that? I'm looking like I'm finna pay it. It's what dude seen it, and when he picked the money up, it's my point. So it breaks him, but he don't want to pay Pie. So I'm telling Pie just let that go because I see this nigga with a big old 45 on his side, right? So Pie, you don't want to let it go, man. So I'm like, man, Pie leave. So I get ready to leave, dude, jump over 2 pistols. Like, where your homeboy go? All that old bullshit, you know what I'm saying? You know, they had me up against the wall with the big ass pistols. I'm looking for a way to get up out of there. Big Rick, them, all them niggas surrounded the nigga with pistols. His partner's got 45. I know Rick got my 32. I ain't been like 2 or 3 bullets up in that motherfucker. You know what I mean? Pie got a 25. We outgunned. But nothing didn't really go down, though, you know what I mean? As soon as the nigga turned his head, I was adios. You know, whatever. But, you know, I'm saying that to say this. Crap games always bring out that kind of shit. So you're going to have to just stand down, stand on your own 2 feet, man. Mm-hmm. You know.
Look, when a lot of us catch a case and we in court, the district attorney will hit us with, we committed a robbery for the benefit of the gang. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, man, that wasn't no, it might have benefited the gang because it was me, but I ain't finna share I ain't robbing nothing to go, here you go, the hood. I mean, I didn't pass out shit, but I ain't going for do it for the hood. I'm doing that shit for myself. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna, gonna take down no jewelry store and call everybody, come get your cut. You know what I mean? Like I'm ringing a bell for dinner or something, you know what I mean? Right. Shit, man, you might well, hell no, man, the police with that bullshit. They just do that shit to just give them something extra to lock niggas down, you know what I'm saying? Just like when we was a kid, they weren't supposed to take pictures of juveniles, right? Southwest funky ass used to pick you up, take you to jail for shit you didn't do just so they could take your picture. So now they leaving a paper trail. You know, they might like, well, I picked him up, like they took me to jail for not having a receipt to my leather coat. You know what I'm saying? Take me to jail so they can take our pictures. You know what I mean? Because if you're a juvenile, they can't do that. Or they might say put a robbery, murder, so now, but it's a paper trail. So if they ain't throwing that shit in the trash, when the other folks come and read that shit, they be like, damn, this nigga's a motherfucker. You might have been squared first, but you'd have been to jail 3-4 times just to get your picture taken because you know, like they didn't have a really gang cards back then. So, you know, they building a file because they trying to know who's gang banging at that time. You know, all their procedures changed, but yeah, that was a bunch of bullshit with them dudes. Just like the 3 strike laws was a bunch of bullshit. How they gonna give a motherfucking time again for something you already doing? They say that ain't double jeopardy. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us took deals, you know what I'm saying, that could have been fought down the court to misdemeanors, but like, fuck it, I don't want to do time in Wayside or the county jail. I'm going to go to the pen for a couple of extra months and hang out with the homies. So yeah, give me that felony. And then they come out with 3 strikes, they're going to use that shit against you to try to strike your ass out. It's just a cold world, bro. You know what I'm saying, with that kind of shit.
One more thing about the pen. What was the relationship like with the Compton Crips during the mid-'80s?
Man, that's a tricky one, man, because I was cool with some, and then some was just like on some other shit. It's just who they was fucking with at what particular time, you know what I'm saying? You know, so I was like Boulevard and them, a lot of people I was cool with, so, you know, some of the neighborhood, Compton neighborhoods was cool. I mean, they used to do their sign like this at one time. Like, that ain't neighborhood. Then some of my cousins stayed in Palm and Oaks. Some of the tanners around there, you know, I'll be all over the place, you know what I'm saying? So, but in there, I didn't really have no beefs with them, you know what I mean?
Right. No, I was just saying, like, I know you said back in the day y'all used to go to Compton, to the Grandies and shit, so I'm wondering if them relationships continued or if you ran across any in the pen that you remember from back then.
Well, I mean, Pinky from Compton, I forgot where he was from, because he had a life. Because when I went through the county jail in 79, Tookie, all of them was in there. But Tookie was on death row, so it was a lot of, you know, I was the first time going to jail, was the county jail. But, you know, like when I was going through, like, when we was going out there, that's like the time when Salty and them got killed. I was a youngster. I didn't know all them dudes. I was with Face and Slew and Big Rick them. They knew all them cats. You know, I was kind of like the youngster that was in the car that they chose to, you know, because I figured I was down to ride with them. So I had that privilege. So we going ride down on Lawrence by Compton High, all that shit. We just going to different sections. You know what I mean? Go on Santa Fe to what Tookie was working at and all that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't have the clout, nor was I old enough to say who was who and who doing what. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know?
So before all the beefs and the gang, the city divided up, you guys was real tight with a lot of the East Coast?
Well, some of us, you know what I'm saying, we was tight with a lot of them, yeah, as far as the hood goes.
Yeah, because I noticed you talk about Bethune Park and then 8-9, Washington Park and
that's because like in the beginning, you know, like with Face them, you know, we building the brand. So different people from the set had relationships from other people. So you going over there like like June them on 71st, Jew Rock. You know, like now, me and Black used to go on 71st and Avalon and fuck with Jew Rock, them, G-Man, them, you know, when G-Man, I met him in 4800, I think. But I mean, you know, just cats like that, you know, so everybody, like, sad them, so all of us had relationships with different ones because they was neighborhood. Like in the beginning when we was going over there, met Raymond Washington, I was a youngster, so, and I know, what's that name, the Months and them that stayed across the street from Bethune. I know we went to parties over there. It was just like a lot of little interaction. So it's an individual type of thing. Like Lil Man that stayed on, I think he stayed on 62nd. You know what I'm saying? And his brother, you know what I'm saying? So all of us had different relationships, whether, you know, like Mont and them when I got off the pen on Inskeep. You know, so everybody had different relationships with different ones at different particular times. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's how that worked. You know what I mean?
When Baby S Mac was interviewing you, he asked about the long table. Do you remember Raymond Washington being at the long table?
I know he was there, but I don't know if I was there when he was there. You know what I'm saying? It's been so long. But I know Raymond Raymond had a lot of clout, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, highly respected, especially from us, you know.
Did you ever meet Bulldog up there?
I seen him, but I was too young to say I actually, man, I met him, he would remember me. See, cause like, far as our hood, that went up there. It could have been more, but I know it was me, Quint, Babyface, Slew. You know, even the homegirl Rollin them came up there. I can't remember.
Moncrief,
yeah, 'cause Moncrief was on the payroll. You know, I remember we was up. You know, we used to be up there, so I met a lot of people. But like I said, I was a young dude, and when I was young, you know what I mean. I wasn't as vocal as I am now. I used to just sit back in the cut and just listen and watch. You know, as I should be. You know what I'm saying? Because like back then, it was like if Face, like if you wasn't down, he wasn't. I can't. Well, that's wrong framing. He just picked certain people to go that you had to dress and act accordingly and be ready for whatever, you know what I'm saying? So me and Quint probably was the youngest one in Moncrief, because I don't know why I be thinking Moncrief older than me, but you know, we was the ones that was ripping them, you know, up there. You know, and that's not taken away from nobody else, but that's just the ones that he chose at that time. Everybody didn't go everywhere.
do you remember Little Caesar from Inglewood being up there?
I remember Little Caesar, them all them out there, because them was all the big names, you know what I'm saying? You know, bartender, when he was up there, there was a whole bunch of big names. But then you got to keep this in mind too. Most of the time when they in there talking at the long table, a lot of us be outside.
Right.
You know what I mean? Doing our shit while because they was like the older cats. They was like the big homies from the. I don't know if they was trying to work it out or they were just playing for a check. I don't know. I'm outside. You know, but a lot of shit used to be popping off up there, but you out there representing what you represent. You know what I mean? So you're going to be dressed how you dress, you know what I'm saying? Especially as a youngster, you're going to be G'd up, talking shit out there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. One day I was asking Motor Mouse about the long tape. Well, actually, he threw the long tape with me. I'm like, heard of it, don't know nothing about it. He said, do your homework. You know that CCO shit. Go do your homework. I start finding all these dudes, and Baby Mac start finding articles. So we know a lot about the long table.
Yeah.
But Little Caesar happened to have a picture there, articles, everything. So Little Caesar was one of the active ones at the long table. So I always ask people about the names that I know was there.
Yeah, man, that's a block. But see, and then if you've been to a long table, you know, at first you used to go, I think on 47 through the side door in the back of the building. Then they started going through the front door. All that. I mean, that's just really don't make a difference. But that's how long niggas was functioning. We used to go up there every time Face was up there. We was up there with him. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the crew he wanted around him at the time. You know what I mean? And then, like I said, we outside. All the heavy hitters, you know, they in there trying to work it out. All the so-called gang leaders at that time, the ones that's repping their hood, they was up in there. You know what I mean? You know, I didn't have no say-so back then, no voice about that. You know, I'm just down from the hood, being up there representing us on the outside of it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Where I come from,